Is this a private prison?
It's a prison.
Is it private?
No, you
Okay, it's public.
Welcome here.
I'm trying to leave. Can I leave?
Whoa.
You're not cuffing me.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
He ripped his handle off trying to open the door. He tried to go for a punch. The warden punched that guy.
And that's when I knocked his ass out. And that's exactly what I did.
Welcome back to the LackLuster channel. In April of 2023, Christian and his friend were driving through Little Rock, Arkansas, and noticed a large prison. Wanting to get a better look, they pulled in and parked. But just as they were leaving, a black Dodge Charger pulled in front of the exit to block their egress, and another man began questioning why they were there.
You in a prison.
Okay, am I restricted property? Is this a private prison?
It's a prison.
Is it private?
You know
Yes.
what a prison
Is it
is?
private? Is it private?
No,
Okay, it's public.
Welcome here.
What?
You're welcome here.
Most areas on prison grounds are restricted. However, the entrance to this parking lot had no signs indicating limited access. On the contrary, just prior to the parking lot, a sign that reads "Visitors" points to the left side of the road, and one that says "Staff" points to the right. While likely said in jest, the warden just told Christian that he is welcome there,
Is it private?
No,
Okay, it's public.
Welcome here.
while simultaneously preventing his departure.
Anytime you come to a prison, your vehicle is subject.
Oh, you're not searching anything of mine.
If you look at that sign, when y'all pass,
You're not searching
when you
nothing.
pass that point,
You know what's gonna be funny?
you're
not searching
I'm
nothing.
not talking to you.
I don't care. Is this restricted property?
Anyway, talk to somebody, act like you got some sense.
The sign the warden mentioned is just outside the entrance to the prison and states that all persons and vehicles who enter are subject to search. The Arkansas Department of Corrections does have a policy supported by several Arkansas revised codes that declares all vehicles entering ADC property are subject to search at any time. However, it also affirms that any visitor refusing to participate in a search shall be escorted from the property. And since Christian made it clear that he wished to leave, he should have been sent on his way. But the warden is pressing to search the vehicle.
You're welcome here.
Thank you. I'm gonna go now.
I don't know how you're gonna go.
There are limited situations where an officer can search a locked container, including your car, glove box, trunk, or other sealed items. Granting them consent is obvious, and I suggest you refuse to allow them to search your belongings, but if they have a warrant, observe contraband sitting out in the open, or if they initiate a search incident to arrest, they can rummage through anything within your immediate control. However, if you're simply detained and your luggage is locked, we start to enter murky territory. But it's why I'm pleased that today's video is sponsored by Sterling Pacific. I've gone through tons of rigid cases for traveling, everything from the Amazon junk to some of the mid-tier products. But Sterling Pacific worked tirelessly to design and engineer premium luggage for pilots and frequent flyers. Plastic certainly has its place, but not when you need to look professional and when real sturdiness is needed. The TSA and baggage handlers lost their sense of gentle ages ago. So Sterling Pacific constructed their cases with 50-52 aluminum and reinforced them with A380 aluminum corners. Their cases exude a professional demeanor, with impact-bearing ridges on the front and back that feel secure as a safe. And instead of rubberized or plastic handles, these are full-grain Italian leather that develop a natural patina over time instead of wearing out. And even on the trolley handle, there is still no plastic. Sterling Pacific has worldwide recognition from pilots and frequent flyers for their commitment to luxury. For example, the oversized wheels provide easy control and coasts over rough terrain. Even the hubcaps and axles are metal, and their travel cases are equipped with TSA double combination latch locks. While Sterling Pacific's luggage may not be the most affordable option out there, it offers a unique experience for those seeking something different, who aren't willing to compromise on their luggage. And to make it more accessible, Sterling Pacific has offered my audience a $300 discount by using the code LackLuster when making your purchase. And by taking advantage of this offer, you'll not only get a great deal, but you'll also be supporting this channel. So visit sterlingpacific.com/lackluster today. And now, back to our story, where Christian is blocked from leaving and instead parks and walks around the lot, only to be confronted by another corrections officer.
Are you a supervisor?
Yeah.
I'm trying to leave. Can I leave?
Whoa. What you doing up here?
I'm allowed to. This is public property.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So what you doing?
Get a cop over here. I want to leave. I'm trying to leave. That's all I'm trying to do at this point. I want to leave. Can I leave?
No, you can't.
Oh, okay.
Now, After being told that he was welcome there, and then that he couldn't leave, they grab him and cuff him.
Hey, go ahead.
Hey, cuff him, connect trespass, cuff him.
Cuff me?
Cuff you. Come on with it.
All right. No, you're not touching me. Are you a cop?
This is my. Hey man, don't play with me.
You're not cuffing me.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. Taylor, record. Taylor, get my phone.
What, you got the last?
Hey, Taylor, get out this car. You're gonna get the same treatment.
Christian and his friend were arrested and cited for trespassing, but as of creating this report, 5 months after the incident, he has still not been given a court date. But just a few months after this incident, in June of 2023, Christian and his friend were at a restaurant in town and happened to come across the warden, Mr. D'Angelo Earl. The incident causes deputies of the Pulaski County Sheriff's Office to be dispatched for reports of terroristic threats. Deputy Bass was the first to arrive on scene and met the warden in the parking lot.
How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
I'm Superintendent D'Angelo Earl. I work down here at the prison. These guys right here was escorted off the compound a couple of weeks ago by the sheriff, by the state troopers. They arrested them. So when they see me up here getting food, they come out threatening me, this, that, and the other, searching the parking lot, run around the parking lot. Oh, you fat motherfucker, we got you out here in the public. Now we gonna get you. So I come back in here, this, that, and the other. So he on the inside. Then when he threw me, I came inside and I knocked his ass out. And the other one didn't get out the car. That's exactly what I did.
The deputy steps away to run Christian's plates and continues to gather the warden's side of the story.
So, you know, in the state troops, they locked them up. I mean, took them out, locked them up, towed the vehicle from the compound and everything. That was less than 3 weeks ago. No, I don't know what it is. So what they do, they go around and do this different stuff. So,
Christian Dancery.
where this dude's from. But they're like, oh, you motherfuckers, we can do this, we can do that, this problem, this, that, and other. So when I'm out here, you got them to make the threats and all that, because you think I'm out here in the public, I ain't gonna defend myself. Right. Nah, I ain't going. And state trooper Jazz locked them up about 3-4 weeks ago down there at the unit, trying to make a drop, and they locked them up.
Get your ID card on you.
So far, Warden Earl has made several baseless claims of threats, so one of the deputies inquires to what specifically they said that could have been interpreted as a threat.
So what kind of threats did you make to it? Talking about what they was gonna do to me, this, that, and the other. So when I came back, I was going back inside then, because even the lady said something. She said, Mr. Earl, she said, I don't know those guys. I believe they got problems, this, that, and the other. So they was already out here making a threat to him when I was going back inside. So when I was going back in, yeah, mom, this is what I'm gonna do, and that's when I knocked his ass out. And that's exactly what I did.
Warden Earl has now stated that he, quote, knocked his ass out for the still non-specific threat of this, that, and the other. And without inquiring any further, Deputy Bass goes inside to speak to Christian.
Got your ID?
I'm just really shaken up right now. I think I need EMS.
They're coming.
Note that the records department blurred the faces of these random people, but left in the addresses, phone numbers, and birth dates of each party. I've taken the liberty to blur and edit that out.
Yeah, someone just punched me in the face.
They punched you in the face?
Where at? Exactly, right there.
EMS arrives to treat Christian, while a deputy works on pulling up the video footage from the restaurant.
He's trying to pull the footage. Rodriguez.
From his, from the cameras?
Yeah.
The cameras here?
Yeah. They got outside cameras too.
He said he had a dash cam on his car.
The deputies now ask Christian for his side of the story.
I had an experience with him, so I said, you. Then I walked in there. He followed me in there. And I said, what do you say? I said, you. And then he just punched me right in the face.
He's the warden
of the Wrightsville prison.
Oh, okay. So walk me through what happened.
Okay. I was driving. I said, is that the warden to him? Is that the warden? He's like, yeah. So I went right there. I said, hey, I you to him. I said, you to him. All right. They went up to my car and said, who are you? And you're like, this is the window.
Hey, no, he tried to rip the rear view mirror off, or the side mirror.
He ripped my handle off.
He tried to rip it. He ripped his handle off, trying to open the door. He was holding the window up. So the dude, the warden, whatever his name is, he tried to go for a punch. He couldn't punch him.
You listening?
I'm listening.
Oh, okay. Not bad. So he tried to go for a punch, but the window was rolled up. Like it was rolling up, and then he tried to go for a punch.
I was literally in there alone, and he walked in behind me.
Did they see it in there?
Everyone saw it in there.
Come over here. Let's go talk to the ambulance.
Christian alleges a very different story involving assault and battery and destruction of property. So far, the warden has still failed to provide a specific threat, and when Christian asks if he has done anything wrong, the deputy confirms that he has not.
Did I do anything wrong, officer?
Right now, no.
Christian is checked by EMS and is released with aftercare instructions consistent with a concussion. Finally, Deputy Bass watches the security footage of the incident. There is no sound, and it is recorded on a body cam. I've done my best to enlarge it to show exactly what happened. The video shows Christian walk into the restaurant to pick up his order by himself. He waits at the counter for a moment. And then begins pacing in front of the door. He then turns his attention to the door and pulls out his cell phone to record. That's when Warden D'Angelo Earl enters the establishment and immediately sucker punches Christian. And as he continues to assault Christian and take his cell phone, an employee separates the warden from his victim. That cell phone would later be returned by a deputy, and now Deputy Cawthon, an alleged friend of the warden, enters the room to view the footage.
Sorry, I got you cramped up.
No, it's okay.
Oh, man, yeah, we are kind of hungry. I'm sorry.
You're good.
No, it's okay.
What time was it?
The door wouldn't bother me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm being on. You ain't got to be on. So was he saying somebody blocked the door when he came in, or he stood right there in front of the door? Did you catch what he said?
No, I just heard when the officer, or what's his name, from
The prison, yeah.
yeah, he just said, "You're not fixing to threaten me again, and you need to stop." Something about threatening me, and then
Yeah.
I was like, "Calm down, it's okay." He's like,
Watch
"No,
it
it."
one more time when he goes to the door, because he's looking at him the whole time. Then he stands directly from the door. He came all the way from over there when he seen us something up.
Because he's trying to record him, that's why.
Oh, that's what he's trying to do?
Yes, it's just, you can see he turns his phone towards him.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to record, but everything happens so fast.
He knew it was coming.
Yeah.
He knew it was coming. See, he's looking out the door like, there he
He pulled his
comes.
phone out like he's going to record him. He didn't have enough time because he saw the hit coming.
But why would he stand right from the door?
Because he knows he's coming in for him.
That don't make. I don't know.
Either way, he's in the wrong.
Which one?
What you mean?
I'm saying which one is in the wrong?
The one that punched him.
Yeah, look.
But this is best call. You anything for me?
I don't think you mean way like that. Now, I'm not going to say it's right against you, but if you walk right in front of me, you see me coming in, he said he was talking about it from outside.
You can't see him coming in. That is true.
Somehow, the warden's alleged friend can't see how D'Angelo Earl is wrong for sucker punching a young man, 3 times smaller than him, after following him into an establishment for alleged unspecific threats. It seems pretty clear to Deputies Bass and Rodriguez, though, and they make note that the interior glass is mirrored, and that Christian wouldn't have been able to see the warden approaching the restaurant. All of this makes Deputy Cawthon's fairy tale of Christian blocking the entryway not only highly improbable, but likely a conspiracy to protect his friend, all at the expense of the man he sucker punched. But despite knowing the right thing to do, instead of arresting the warden, Deputy Bass enters his cruiser and calls his sergeant.
The guy is the warden of the Wrightsville prison. He said he came here to pick up some food. He saw some people that state police had arrested for trying to make a drop out in their field. Said that the guys threatened him. One of them went inside the restaurant. He went inside the restaurant, and then the warden punched that guy that had threatened him. So we reviewed the camera footage, and we can't see any threats being made outside. All we see is the warden coming in and punching the guy. Well, I was just trying to give you a heads up because we got the warden involved in this. Alright. We'll document it and have him contact the prosecutor's office. We're going to document it and refer them both to the prosecutor's office for threats and for this.
That's what I referred him to. So.
Can I ask a question? That's just for knowledge and educational purposes. Why did you prefer that route? Just for if I go to something like this.
It's a misdemeanor assault with minor injuries. It's going to have to be referred to the prosecutor's office for charges. I can't verify what threats were made to him to elicit that kind of response out of him.
Okay.
And when you look at the story,
It didn't happen in our presence. We got video, but it didn't happen.
Deputy Bass now goes inside to watch the full encounter. Again, there is no sound, but the video shows Christian pull up to park for an order that he called in. The warden runs out of nowhere to Christian's vehicle and rips the door handle off the driver's side door. Christian then leaves, hoping to return after the warden left, but the warden stays in the lot and makes a phone call. Christian returned 5 minutes later and walked into the restaurant. And just after that, the warden leaves his vehicle and follows him inside and immediately attacks Christian. And now, after watching the video, the deputies return to speak to him.
How do you say I threatened him?
And he said you made threats to his life.
In reality, the warden never actually said that Christian threatened his life, and Christian just so happens to have proof, and he offers it to the deputy.
That's great because I have everything audio recorded.
Do you have a camera on your...
I have it right here.
Mind if we take this to enter it as evidence?
Could I, is there any way I can give you a copy of it? Because I'm going to submit everything to my lawyer, or do you just need it now?
I can't
embrace anything.
I can't pull anything off of it here.
Okay.
It would get turned into evidence for our detectives to review.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything's on there.
Giving the deputy his only copy of the dashcam footage was probably Christian's biggest mistake. The deputies took pictures of the vehicle and Christian's injuries, but has not been able to have his memory card returned or a copy of its contents, though they've released the body cam, pictures, and incident report. On scene, the deputies couldn't verify that any threats were actually made and have no grounds to arrest Christian. They also claim that because they didn't personally witness the assault, the theft of Christian's phone, and the criminal mischief for the damaged vehicle, that they couldn't possibly arrest the warden, though the video and multiple witnesses speak for themselves. However, if you browse the recent arrests made in Pulaski County, you'll find that the same agency makes dozens of domestic battery arrests that they were not present for, and will book people for other simple infractions, including threats, public intoxication, trespassing, disorderly conduct, and even jaywalking, but not a provable assault. Deputy Bass wrote on the incident report that it was unclear why the warden had Christian's phone, and that no explanation as to why he had the phone was given, even though they all knew exactly how the warden obtained it. Christian was told to report the incident to the prosecutor's office and was free to leave, but despite obtaining a lawyer to sue the warden, the DA is allegedly refusing to prosecute. According to the warden's LinkedIn page, Mr. D'Angelo Earl is still the superintendent of the Arkansas Division of Corrections, but his profile also reminds us to be comfortable waiting a little longer for the things you deserve. And on that note, it won't be long until Christian's lawsuit is filed, and hopefully the DA will file the charges that the warden deserves. But let me know what you think down below. Did the deputies have enough to arrest the warden on scene? Should the DA file charges against either men? Or is this just another example of a corrupt justice system that works to protect itself, rather than seeking to do the right thing? If the dashcam footage becomes available, the warden gets charged, or the lawsuit is filed, I'll be sure to let you know. But in the meantime, be sure to check out one of these other stories. And another big thanks to Sterling Pacific for sponsoring this video.